Welcome to another edition of Book of Jake. My name is Jake Abdullah. I believe it's about 14 or 15 days into our 100-day challenge, which ends on January 1st, 2025. And lots of questions, mostly about health. Actually, 99% of the questions that was posed to me was about health and fitness and training and stuff like that. So I thought I'll try to break down some of the myths and mythos and some of the miscommunication about health. Because a lot of people will say, like, they told me. I'm still trying to understand who are they, but I'll give you my comments, my thoughts, my tips, and also some information that I got from colleagues of mine who are trained professionals and fitness experts and also doctors. Okay, we'll start out with weight. So people mistake. So one of the questions I got was, one of my friends told me I lost 5 kilos in a week. You could have lost 5 kilos in a week, but I don't think you lost fat. So 5 kilos, to break it down very simply, 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories, which means 1 kilo is about 7,700 calories. To lose 1 kilo of fat, you need to be in a deficit of almost 1,000 calories a day, which is not say impossible, but it's below your BMR. BMR is basal metabolic rate. Basal metabolic rate is what are the calories you need in order for you to survive. It differs from people to people. My BMR, based on my age, my activity, is about 3,200 calories. So for me to lose 1 kilo of fat, I need to drop my consumption by 1,000 calories. That means I need to be in the 2.6, 2.7 to 2.8 calories. So while it's possible, I don't think it's very, advisable, because you're going to feel hungry. So that's one thing. Number two, don't focus on weight loss, rather focus on fat loss, because when you go out and eat, you go out with your friends, you makan malam, you pergi makan roti canai and all that. The next day you put on 2 kilos. Oh my God, Allah, I put on 2 kilos.
I put on a little weight?
How did this happen? You actually didn't put on 14,000 calories, because 2 roti canai is not 14,000 calories. It's probably like 800 calories. So how did you put on so much weight? Well, because of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates hold water. That means for every gram of carbohydrate you take, you put on 2 to 3 grams of water. So, so this water will be released in 2 or 3 days. So you don't necessarily lose fat, you lose water. So most people tend to go on a very low carbohydrate diet. When that happens, your body will relinquish its glycogen levels, or your body stores energy in terms of glycogen in your cells and also your liver. So what happens is you lose the water. So dalam seminggu tu, you think, I lost 3 kilos.
Water what? Water and badass and water.
But realistically, you lost water. So what happens when you eat carbohydrates? You put back the water. Is it wrong or right? Well, I don't know whether it's wrong or right, but I would rather lose fat than lose weight. So,
quiet, fatty, fatty!
Should I eat carbohydrates? Yes, you should, because carbohydrate is a fuel. Fat is a fuel. So pick your carbohydrates, but stick with the good ones. Stick with like rice. Rice doesn't make you fat.
Oh, you boys are so adorable.
Question, like potatoes and stay away from the processed stuff. One question I got from Azim, who says, Jake, does rice make you fat? No, rice doesn't make you fat. Eating too much rice makes you fat. Eating too much of anything makes you fat. So rice is a very good form of carbohydrate. Do people get fat eating carbohydrates? No, like I said, in Japan, one of the staple food is rice.
It is important to load up on carbohydrates.
And Japanese people are probably one of the slimmest in the world. So what does that happen? The problem is you go and eat nasi kandar lah. Then you tambah this, you tambah that, you tambah this, you tambah that. And then suddenly your meal is 3,400 calories and you're in excess of so many calories, you put on weight. So rice doesn't make you fat. Another question I got is, kalau kita makan dan tidur, will we become fat? Let me explain this to you in calories in terms of money, okay? Assuming you got 1,000 ringgit and you spend 500 ringgit, you will have balanced 500 ringgit. If you spend it in the morning or if you spend it at the night, you still have 500 ringgit. Do you understand? It's very simple. It doesn't matter about the timing. There is no such thing as time. In the end, it's about a caloric deficit. That means when you spend more than you eat, you lose weight. When you eat more than you spend, you put on weight. That's all about weight loss. Of course, there are some dynamics. As you exercise more and all that, your body becomes more efficient, so your calorie expenditure also changes.
Does that burn calories?
Now, another question I got is, does sleep affect your weight loss? Yes, definitely. So people who tend to sleep less usually tend to put on a bit of weight and stuff like that. So because of your hormones,
Damn hormones.
and your stress and you're not resting enough. So sleep's really important. Can you lose weight by drinking more water? When you drink more water, your body will expel water. That means you sort of just losing water. You can see boxers and bodybuilders do this a lot. Like I have a brother who's a world champion, Mike, and also my close friend Kumar. So before their contest, they tend to consume 4 to 5 liters of water. So when you take in more water, your body will reduce water. So it gives you the dry look. So how do you actually lose fat? Like I said before, the easiest way to lose fat is to stay in a caloric deficit. That means your body needs 2,000 calories. You eat 1,500 calories. So you're short of 500 calories. 7 days is 3,500 calories. 7 days is 1 pound. Okay? So 4 weeks in a month, the 4 pounds, which is about 2 kilograms. If you do that for a year, 12 times 2, you lose 24 kilograms. That's it. But the problem is we are always in excess. We eat in excess, Classic example is Bulan Ramadan. Bulan Ramadan, you're supposed to lose weight, but most people put on weight. Why? Because like I lose weight, I lose about 7 kilos easily because my sahur is usually just very simple, probably a glass of water. And then I eat my buka puasa. And that's it. I eat like 1 meal a day. So I'm really drastically not eating. I won't go for buffets and stuff like that. But most people tend to go for buffets and stuff like that, and they overeat. So as long as you overeat, you're going to put on weight. There is no other way to lose weight than to reduce your consumption. Another question I got is eating pizza bad for you? Eating fast food bad for you? Look, let's be realistic here. Who doesn't enjoy a good pizza?
Pizza?
Who doesn't enjoy a good burger? Who doesn't enjoy ice cream? I do too. I got a sweet tooth. I love it.
Ice cream.
But here's the thing. You can't eat it if you're in a deficit.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
The point is, per week, you calculate the amount of calories you need. And then if you're down by, assuming 2,000 calories, 1 Magnum ice cream or one, roti canai, banje, or it's not going to hurt. You still be in a caloric deficit. That means you need to be in a deficit to enjoy this food. So simple as that.
Oh shit, Sherlock.
So people misunderstand. They go too extreme, and then because they're too extreme, they will sort of give it up. Okay. Another question I got is, how can we food prep? The safest way for you to food prep is, and this is my way, I'm not saying it's the right way or the wrong way. I generally tend to eat the same food mostly every day. Morning, I don't eat in the morning. It's called intermittent fasting because I stop eating at about 8, 9 o'clock and I'll not eat for about 16 hours or 17 hours. So usually at about 1 o'clock, I'll have my first meal. My first meal is usually, I tend to perform better without rice. So eggs and some beef or some chicken, some fish and some vegetables. That's it. So I go for long periods of not eating, which is called intermittent fasting. The thing about intermittent fasting is your insulin level doesn't spike.
This is interesting.
Whenever we eat sugar or some form of carbohydrate, our body releases insulin to control our blood sugar, so we don't go into shock. If it doesn't do that, we will go into shock. So this is essential for us. When we don't eat any carbohydrates, our insulin doesn't come out. So think about it as a fridge. You have a freezer, you have a fridge. Okay? The freezer is your fat lah, your lemak sini semua. I tak ada lemak, ada sikit-sikit. Okay, so your freezer, okay? What happens is, every time you go out, go to a supermarket, you put stuff in your fridge. But the stuff in the freezer is never used. How is it going to be used? What happens is you need to stop buying food for your freezer and tap into your fridge. That's how you lose fat.
That's brilliant.
If you don't have food here, then only you start to look for food here. So if you have food here, you will never look for the food here. So it's very important to understand this. Our body is meant to store fat because generally back in the day when our forefathers were alive and they were walking about and they are hunting and all that, sometimes for 10 hours they had to catch the rooster. They have to run here, run there. In the end, they catch the rooster. They go to clean. By the time, 16 hours.
What the fuck?
These days, we just call Grab. And then, or we go to a mama, or we go to, nasi lemak, burung hantu, 24 hours a day. And we eat. So that's the reason. The availability of food is causing us to be sedentary. So I would suggest fasting. Most religions, in fact, prescribe fasting as a way to sort of cleanse your body, to get your gut level better, to get your body restored and all that. Okay. Another question I got is, I won't mention his name, is what do you think about detox?
You need to detox.
Ya Allah, our maker has given us kidney, liver, skin to detox. You don't need a detox juice. All this is just absolute crap. Stop wasting your money. I'll give you my bank account and you put in there. There is no need for you to go for a special detox. Just drink water, exercise. Your body knows what to do. It'll detox by itself. If your kidney is not working, then you go and detox using a dialysis. If your liver is not working, get a transplant or whatever. So there is no reason for you to actually go for a detox juice and all that. All that is absolute crap. Sometimes I see in TikTok they say you can lose weight if you drink this, you can drink that. No. The only way for you to lose weight, again, like I said, is to be in a caloric deficit. That means if you are eating 2,000 calories, your body requires 2,500 calories, you're in a deficit of 500 calories. So you drop 500 calories. So the only real way is to be in a deficit. Of course, there is some argument to that also, because I see people, what happens is, I stay near these hills where people go walking every day, and I see one lady. She's about 65. She walks every day, but come to a point, she's not losing weight. So her body has adapted. So maybe 2 years ago, when she walked for 45 minutes, she's losing 300 calories. Now she's losing 150 calories. But she's eating the same. So she's stagnated. So my best advice to you is to lift weights, because when you have more muscle, generally you have less fat. So a fat level percentage is deducted by your lean mass and your bones and all that and your fat. So I would always tell people, lift weights. Don't be a cardio bunny. When you do cardio and stuff, it's great for your lungs and for your heart, the two most important components. The third component, believe it or not, is actually your muscles. Muscle is anti-aging. So people who have muscles generally tend to live longer. Most people die of a broken hip than, quite a bit of other accidents. So lift weights. So I would suggest, no matter how old you are, start lifting weights, because muscle is active. Every time you move your hand, if you've got muscles, you're expending calories. So try not to be restrictive of that. One person is asked, how often do I work out? I would tend to work out almost every day, but you don't have to do it that way, because to me it's a stress reliever. But if you get 3 good days a week, 45 minutes, you're already in a very, very much better place. So start small, you can do body weight workouts, you can do squats, you can do push-ups, you can do pull-ups, and just keep going at it, you'll be fine. Another thought of mine on weight loss is also be consistent about it. Don't start and don't expect things to happen so fast. The first 2 weeks you will see a bit of change, first month, but then you might get stagnated, because you can't lose the weight you took 20 years to put on in 6 months. That's absolute crap. A lot of people struggle because of this, because they want to lose it very fast. So what do we get out of this? Again, stop with this rubbish about tak boleh makan nasi, tak boleh makan tu, tak boleh makan this. You can makan anything you want, but be sensible about it. Don't be too restrictive. I would suggest, again, intermittent fasting. I would suggest, again, eat whole foods. If your food has got 3 or 4 or 5 ingredients, it's obviously not good. Okay? So what is whole foods? Fish, chicken, meat, vegetables, fruits, milk, Our ancestors didn't have all this. If you go back to the 1970s and look at all the videos, there's really no obese people. There's just people who are just of average size. These days there's so many people who are obese. Why? Because sedentary, we don't move. Walk a lot. Like I use a Garmin watch, so I track about 10 to 12,000 steps every day. So 10,000 steps is 7 kilometers. So I would say track your steps. Very easy way to see it is if you're doing 4,000, 5,000, you're mid. I would up it to about 7,000. You don't have to run because I hate running because it's just so taxing in my central nervous system. So I walk a lot. I park my car further. I'll take the stairs and stuff like that. I hope that helped. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I know this is a lot to take in, but knowledge is power. I know all this because I've made so many mistakes in my life. People will tell me, hey, the person said, they said, and I've always thought to myself, who is they, until I found out myself. These days with Google and ChatGPT and stuff, you can actually go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm 6 feet 220 pounds, 20% body fat. I'd like to get down to about 15% in 6 months. Could you draw up a program for me based on a workout of 3 times a week? And it'll do it for you. Then you say, could you please work out my macros? Macros are protein, carbohydrates, and fats. That's a macros, okay? Macronutrients. And it'll do it for you. And could you make it a Malaysian diet? It'll do it for you. So you have no excuse not to be healthy, okay? The only thing that's stopping you is your bullshit and your excuses. All right? So till I catch you again, if you have any other questions, please feel free to let me know. I'm really excited to help you. Subscribe, like, also buy my book at www.bookofjake.my. And if you have any questions, again, holler. See you guys next week.